Hi everybody, and welcome to today's webinar with WSP. So we are jam-packed with this webinar today as we're hearing from students who have gone through the degree apprenticeships, placements, internships, and also the graduate programme. So we've got lots to fit in, but we're going to hear about some really fantastic experiences. So we're joined by Katie, Senior Recruitment Specialist, placement students Eloise and Martina, degree apprenticeship Sam, Assistant Engineer Phoebe, and ex-graduate Anandita. So welcome everybody thank you for joining us on this webinar today. We'll also be hearing from the panel all about the recruitment process, the different projects they've worked on, and much more. So Katie, we've worked together, it seems like forever. So could you introduce yourself to the audience, please, and tell everybody about who you are, what you do?
Okay, so thank you, Carla. So hello, everyone. So I am Katie. So I'm the Senior Recruitment Specialist for WSP. So I'm part of the early career team and I personally recruit advanced and degree apprentices across the UK business. So WSP, so we're a multidisciplinary engineering design and professional services consultancy. So we are civil engineers, so that's the structure of a building, to the facades we're building, to highways, to bridges, to rail station design. We're also building services, so that's the services of a building, so mechanical, electrical, heating, ventilating, lifts, escalators. We're also rail design, so that can be track design, signalling, platforms, transport planners, environmental practitioners, strategic advisors, project management, many others. So that's just to say a few. So that just shows the multidisciplinary sort of areas that we do. So size-wise, so we're a community of over 9,000 employees here in the UK. We've got more than 50 offices in the UK, and we're over 66,000 globally. So we plan, design, and deliver projects both locally and internationally. So it inspires us to stay curious. So for example, just some of the projects that we've worked on and been involved in is we're currently involved with 22 Bishopgate. So WSP has put the tallest City of London tower on the road to net zero, which is very exciting. We are also creating the UK's first hydrogen village, the Eden Project North, which is in Morecambe, which Tyson Fury lives, which I think is quite a fun fact, with the plan to create a 21st century seaside resort. And the ones I believe we're most famous for is we were involved with the project of the Shard. So we recruit early career professionals, so that's degree apprentices, graduates, year in industry, and summer placement students across all the disciplines that I've spoken about, and many more, and that's each year right across the UK. Applications are now open, and as an early career professional, you will have the opportunity to work on real life projects from day one, but with a tailored development programme put in place to help support you throughout your journey here at WSP. And we want you to feel a real sense of belonging in an environment where everyone feels respected and valued. So if you want to like the sound of what I've said and you'd like to work with the best and brightest minds in the industry with us, you can. That's
Absolutely.
A little bit about us.
There isn't much case that you do not do as a company, is there?
Yeah.
I know you've done you've worked in early careers for quite some time now. So why are early careers so important to WSP?
So they're so important because they bring lots of different perspectives. So they bring fresh ideas to things which maybe we've not originally thought of. They just bring lots of great ideas along with them, as well as experience as well from that they've experienced throughout university, throughout school. If they've worked part-time as well on a job, they can bring those experiences with them as well. And they have the foundation to then go on throughout the business as well and grow within the business. And there's lots of opportunities to move around and lots of opportunities to progress as well. So they can become the real backbone to WSP.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Katie. So like Katie mentioned, they are open to opportunities. So right now on the WSP Hub on Gradcracker, applications are open to degree apprenticeships, internships and graduates, all open to multiple candidates and across all STEM disciplines. So the internships and graduate opportunities cover programs like environmental, engineering, finance, property, infrastructure, advisory, water and energy. So lots of different options there. And the placements, like Katie mentioned, they're a bit of a mixture between your year-long placements and your summer placements. And now they have a deadline of the 31st of December. So you've got a little bit of time to get your applications in for those. The graduate opportunities have a deadline of the 26th of November. So time is pressing slightly on those. So make sure you watch this webinar and then get your applications in. And excitingly, especially for Katie, we went live with the degree apprenticeships on Gradcracker yesterday. So these cover disciplines such as civil engineering, building services, rail design and transport planning, all with a deadline of the 29th of February. So again, a little bit more time, but it's going to soon be Christmas and then it'll be February. So don't miss out on these amazing opportunities. So let's now meet the panel in a little bit more detail. All, use Gradcracker, also at university, to thoroughly research and apply to their positions. So we're going to find out a little bit more about you. So Eloise, I'm going to start with you. So you're currently on placement at WSP. And so tell everybody about what you are currently studying and at which university.
So I'm Eloise and I study at Loughborough University. I'm currently doing the architecture engineering program, the master's degree.
Super. And how long have you been at WSP?
So I started in September this year for a placement.
Fantastic. So a couple of months. So we've got getting some insight into what you've been up to so far a little bit later on. Martina, let's come to you. So where are you currently studying at university and what are you studying?
Hi everyone, so I'm doing civil engineering at the University of Warwick. I've done 3 years so far, and I started working at WSP in this September, and next September I'm going back to uni to complete my 4th and final year, which is the master's year. So yeah.
Perfect, thanks Martina. So Sam, you're a little bit different. So you're currently on your degree apprenticeship. So which university are you affiliated with and what is your degree apprenticeship in?
Hello everyone. So I'm doing a bachelor's degree in civil engineering at London South Bank University, and I'm currently about midway through. Yeah,
lovely. Perfect. Thanks, Sam. And Phoebe, so many different stories going on here. So Phoebe, you've completed your degree apprenticeship. And you're now an assistant engineer, so well done, congratulations. But cast your mind back, so what did you study when you were doing your degree apprenticeship and which university?
So I studied the civil engineering design apprenticeship, and that was through London South Bank University.
Carla might have frozen on us. Anandita, I'll come to you next. Similar kind of question, if you could tell us a bit about your current role and where you studied.
Hi everyone, my name is Anindita and I'm an assistant transport planner. So I sit within the transport planning team in the Birmingham office of WSP. I joined the graduate program in October 2021 in the transport planning team. And prior to that, so I'm by training, I am an urban planner. So I studied urban and regional planning, both bachelor's and master's from Center for Environment Planning and Technology in India. And I graduated in 2017. So I worked for 3 years in India and then moved to the UK in 2020. And then I've been with WSP for almost 2 years now.
Fantastic. Carla's
I'm back.
It's all right.
my heart stopped beating in for at least 20 seconds, but I am back. Sorry, Jess, I bet that put you on the spot a little bit. So I'm guessing you introduced Anandita, so thank you for that. So what we're going to do now is scoot around the room and find out a fantastic, fascinating fact about WSP. And Eloise, we're going to come back to you. So tell us about your fact.
So my random fact about WSP is that the name WSP stands for Williams Sales Partnership. Just a little random one.
I like the more random the better. We've got a bit of a variety going on today. Martina, on to you. What's your top fact?
So something I learned when I joined the company is that you can take days off to volunteer that are outside of your annual leave. So you can organize your own charity event, you can run a marathon, like anything. So yeah, it's really nice that you're encouraged to volunteer and contribute to society in a way that you want.
That's really
Absolutely.
good.
Have you had your volunteer day yet, or?
No, not yet, but there are a couple. So I'm currently applying to become a STEM ambassador as well. So I'm doing basically the passport checks. So there are so many opportunities.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Thank you, Martina. Sam, on to you.
So my one is back in 2014, Red Bull wanted to complete a world record base jump, and WSP designed the little platform structure that was assembled on top of the Burj Khalifa.
Wow.
Perfect, thanks. Phoebe?
So WSP has 68,000 employees globally, which is the same capacity as the Murrayfield Stadium in Edinburgh.
Perfect, thank you. Phoebe's, bless her, Googling about the size of stadiums before. It's like, oh, Murrayfield. Thank you, Phoebe. And Adita, on to you.
Yeah, I was going to talk about volunteering, but Martina said that. So I'm just going to talk about the Star Awards scheme in WSP. So basically, Star Awards is you can nominate anyone in your team, be it senior or junior, for exceptional project work contribution or just team building contribution, whichever way they can. And they're rewarded with a £75 voucher, which you can use in different retail outlets. I've got 2 so far, so it's I think it's a very innovative way to reward team members and really make them feel valued and appreciated within the team. So yeah, interesting.
And it just goes to show how good you are as well, Andy, doesn't it? So well done. What we're going to do now is hand over to Jessica, and we're going to find out a little bit more about your roles.
Fab, thanks, Carla. So don't disappear on me.
I'm here, love. I'm here.
I'm
holding your hand.
a little bit later on.
I've got you, sweetheart.
Eloise, you're top of my list, so I'm going to keep coming to you first, if that's okay, my love.
Yeah, that's all right.
So if you could just tell us all a bit about your placement so far. So I know obviously you only started in September, but what your current role is at WSP and what life is like for you.
Yeah, so I'm obviously on my placement year. My role is that I'm a year in industry bridge engineer. So I'm working with the civil and bridges engineering team for the rest of my year until August. Okay.
And what have you been doing since September? What's the kind of process been like? Have you been working on any projects just yet, or what have you been up to?
So the first week, they normally give you like a whole lot of training videos to sort of get you up to standard or like caught up with everything that you need to know about the company. And I'm currently working on a project called SAFA. We're employed by Network Rail to analyze rail networks, rail bridges throughout the country, checking their defects, checking that they're still standing fine. We will write reports, do drawings, and send that back to Network Rail to basically tell them that we're happy with the bridge. Or if not, then they have to fix the bridge. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm currently doing. There are a few other options that I will potentially move into, but I don't know what those will be yet.
Exciting, really interesting. So we're going to come back to you a little bit later on to find out a bit more about those rotation and projects that you have worked on since September. So that was really good intro. So thanks, Louise. Martina, I'm going to come to you. Similar kind of question. Tell us a bit what life is like for you at WSP so far.
Yeah, thank you. So so my role is called a placement student. I'm working within the highways team in Cardiff. So I am involved in a couple of projects. So they're for transport fuels. So they're more involved with active travel routes. I've done some very minor tasks for HS2, and I started in September. So I'm yet to get involved in more projects, but yeah, I'm not sure yet. My first week was just training, and then I gradually started to get first some smaller tasks, and then it progressed to actually doing whole design options for like our project. So yeah.
And Martina, what's the team like then that you've been working in? Is it the same team you've been working in since September, or have you managed to experience?
Yeah, so the project so when I joined the company, the project had just started. So basically, I'm still involved in the same project, and I've been working with the same team. But yeah, we'll see for the future. Maybe that will change. Yeah, but so far I've been working with the same people.
Fantastic. Yeah, we're going to come back to you a little bit later on to find out a bit more detail about the projects. But again, great intro. Sam, Phoebe, I'm going to come to you next. So it's slightly different with degree apprenticeship opportunities. Sam, I'm going to come to you first. Tell us a bit how, what life is like for you, how it works, and how's the split between university and WSP?
Yes, so I've been with WSP for about 4 years now. So my role has kind of developed in that time. Joining as an apprentice, you're absolutely, you don't feel like an apprentice in any sense. You very much go to university 1 day a week. The rest of the time, you're very much involved in project work. Towards the start of my time with WSP, I was more assisting some of the engineers and the senior engineers with tasks. But that has now progressed, and I'm now in a position where I'm leading the design for 2 schemes in Bournemouth. It's just excellent. Lots of variety, lots of client liaison, but really good team to work with as well on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, Sam, if you don't mind me asking, and Phoebe, I'll probably ask you a similar question. In the kind of degree apprenticeships are still quite new, really, aren't they? In terms of how popular they're getting and things like that. So what inspired you to do this kind of opportunity rather than going, say, down the traditional more route of doing, say, a full-time bachelor's course at university? What excited you about WSP?
For me, I've always been more of a visual and a practical learner, and the idea of just sitting in a lecture hall 5 days a week for me isn't my style of learning. I think as we move forward, we appreciate that people do learn in different ways, and so for me, being able to go 1 day, learn the theory, but then come into the real world and see, okay, this is how I apply it, and the reason behind why you learn it. For me, that was the key driver, and it's good to feel like you're developing life skills as well as just your academic studies. So the combination of the two was just ideal for me.
Yeah, definitely. It's really, really good. And in terms of that balance then, how do you find doing your day-to-day, your WSP tasks, as well as doing your academical studies?
The WSP are really supportive, to be fair, of the time that you need for it. So you're assigned 1 day a week purely for your university studies. I found when university has got slightly more demanding, so around the time of doing exams, they are more lenient with giving you a bit of extra time if you request it. I think the main thing is that as long as you ask, they really do listen, and they do take that on board. So there's times where it is intense, won't deny that, but it's really rewarding, and you've got all the support you need.
Yeah, definitely. So when will you finish your degree apprenticeship? Sorry,
I will finish in.
So sorry, halfway through now. So you've got another 4 years then, have you?
I've got 2.5 years left. So yeah, it'll be 2026 that I finish.
Yeah, fantastic. And will you come out with a bachelor's then, or a master's as well? Bachelor's.
Yeah, bachelor's.
Fantastic, good stuff. Phoebe, come to you, similar kind of questions. What's life like for you? Why did you pick this route? And how's it going?
Yeah, it's going really well. I think the main reason I chose an apprenticeship was because I just, a bit like Sam said, I wanted a bit more of a hands-on approach to learning. So to do an apprenticeship where you actually get a degree at the end of it, but you still have a full-time, really involved job was the ideal route for me. So yeah, it was perfect, really.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then how do you divide your time? Is it quite a bit like Sam? Are you just 1 day a week as well, or do you have a different split?
Yeah, so mine was 1 day a week as well. Only in term times, like you work normal university terms, 1 day a week. And again, as Sam said, if you need extra time for assignments or exams, we get like study leave, so we can take time off to study. It's really flexible, and they do really listen if you need a bit of extra time. It's really good like that.
Yeah, well done. And Phoebe, tell us a bit about your current role. So what are you up to kind of on day-to-day stuff at WSP?
So when I finished, I got promoted to assistant engineer. So I'm now an assistant in the livable places team. So we do like local government roads and like public realm spaces and stuff like that. And I work on a contract with Westminster City Council. So all of my projects are like within central London, which has a lot of challenges, don't get me wrong, but it's really interesting and really, really fun. I get a lot of site visits as well because I'm based in London. So if I want to visit a site, I can just pop out and there it is. So yeah, it's really, good.
You've finished your degree apprenticeship. So sorry, those questions before were implying that you haven't finished, but you've finished now, haven't you? How was the transition then coming off from your degree apprenticeship, now being kind of full-time graduate, you know, not having to go to university? How have you found that?
Yeah, it was a bit weird in September to not go back to like 1 day a week. That was a bit of a wake-up call, having to work 5 days, but the work essentially is the same as what I was doing. I've stayed in the same team in the same place, so I didn't have to sort of relearn anything new. It's just
nice
my day to day.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff. And what is your team like then? Is it quite a big team, quite a small team?
My team is relatively small. It's about 10 people, and then we're in a wider team of about 50 people. But we're like really close knit, so it's lovely. It's like a little family. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice, because I think that's the thing sometimes, isn't it, when students are looking at different companies on Gradcracker, deciding, do I want to work for a large organization or do I want to work for a small one? And I've learned myself doing these webinars that quite often you can have these really quite big companies, but it's quite often you'd be working in quite a small team and has that family feel, like what you've just said, Phoebe. So that's really a nice point to make. So thanks for that, Phoebe. And indeed, I'm going to come to you next. Last but not least, what is life like for you at WSP, and can you tell us a bit about your current role, please?
So my current role is I'm an assistant transport planner, and I basically sit within the transport planning team in Birmingham, but I also closely work with the development planning team based in Manchester. So we work for a lot of government as well as private clients. So Transport for West Midlands, Transport for Greater Manchester, councils, Birmingham City Council, private developers, so a broad range of clients. And so we basically do a lot of transport assessment documents, which is basically a technical document that sort of assesses transport implications on the networks due to upcoming development schemes. So it's quite interesting, and so far I've worked on a lot of a variety of projects like transport schemes, bypass development projects, strategic projects, business cases, mixed-use developments, town center regeneration, logistics, warehousing, and on active travel side of things, we also work on a lot of local cycling, walking, and infrastructure plans, which is commonly called as LCWIPs. So, which is currently quite in the market. And yeah, it's been a very interesting journey, starting as a graduate and then moving on to these roles. So yeah, I think it's been a very rewarding journey so far.
I can imagine. Would you say the graduate program that you did with WSP helped to kind of guide you in the directions that you are now? And did it help to kind of shape your career in terms of making that final decision of, you know, once you've come off, what project, what area of the business you wanted to work in?
Definitely, I think, because once you start as a graduate in WSP, you're not treated as a graduate, but you're working on real life projects, and I think that gives a lot of exposure. There's also exposure to the ECP network, which is the Early Career Professionals Network. So you interact with a lot of other colleagues who are doing different things. So it gives you an idea of where you want to go. Then there is also the professional development review process that goes on, which you can work with your line manager to understand what areas you want to work on, what kind of exposure you have. There are rotation schemes, so you have the opportunity to work in other different teams as well. So I've had the opportunity to work with the development planning team as well, so who work on a lot of mixed use development projects apart from transport schemes. So that's been a really good blend for me to understand where I want to go. So I think there are a lot of opportunities at WSP within the program.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for that introduction, Anandita. Eloise, I'm going to come to you a bit about projects. So you started talking about them, and I wanted to stop you because I don't want you to go into too much detail. So yeah, I'm going to come back to you if that's okay. And if you could just tell a bit and tell us all a bit about the projects that you've been working on and your potential rotations in the future.
Yeah, so again, I'm currently working on a project called SAFA. So it stands for Civil Assessment Framework Agreement, where we're employed by Network Rail to go out onto site and assess pedestrian bridges, road bridges, so footbridges and all of that. And then we come back to the office and we have to formulate a report on basically all of the defects that we found, do calculations. I haven't got to the calculations yet, but hopefully I'll be able to work my way up to starting that. So yeah, so once we finished with that, then we send it off to Network Rail, where they will either confirm that they're happy with the bridge, or they'll send it back to us and ask for a next level assessment, where we'll do further calculations to confirm that the bridge is safe and stuff. There are a couple of other, so I am in bridges, so everything that I do will sort of head in that direction. So there's East Western Rail, that is another project that I'm potentially starting on. So I think that's building a rail connection from Cambridge down South London somewhere. But yeah, I haven't been able to start on that just yet. So that's for the future.
So Eloise, to say you're 2 months in,
yeah,
it seems as though you've done quite a lot in the last 2 months.
Yeah,
Has
definitely.
It surprised you, kind of the rate that, you know, WSP have got you involved in things and the responsibility that you've been given?
Yeah, I definitely say that I wasn't expecting to be this in depth in projects, but I wouldn't say that it's an overwhelming amount of work. Like I don't feel like I'm struggling, and within your first week, you have people coming up to you and saying, like, don't be afraid to ask questions. Like, it's a very safe environment, and they would rather you ask questions than to sit at your desk and like stress and worry and all of that. Because most employees are able to work at home 3 days a week, they did require that I started my first couple of weeks full 5 days in the office, just so that I'm around people to ask them questions, sort of get to know everybody. And then as I progress through the months, they allowed me to take more days at home. So there's that integrated working opportunity as well.
That's really good. And in terms of, you know, you mentioned obviously you're going to stay within the certain area of bridges then, but the different projects that you potentially can work on, is that driven by you as well? Do you have to almost kind of find that next project or find that next bit of work, or are you kind of guided into, you know, potentially said about the one in Cambridge, London area, or is it kind of handed to you, if that makes sense?
So these are massive projects that are sort of subdivided for the different teams within the Bridges team network. So these are projects that are given to me.
Right.
So I wouldn't necessarily go out and find them, but there is an opportunity, like if I'm wanting to go in a different direction, sort of move away from bridges and rails and all that, then they said that is an opportunity for me. So because I'm in the civil and bridges team, I have quite a variety of different projects to move on to if I really wanted to sort of expand what I'm working on.
That's really good, actually, and that's good to make the point, because, you know, that's the benefit of getting a placement, isn't it, to gain that experience? Because, you know, couldn't you could start doing the placement, start working on a certain thing. I think, actually, now I'm doing this, I'm not sure if this is the right direction for me. So it's good that WSP have, you know, offered that there could be other different avenues after, which is fantastic. And in terms of your day-to-day, Eloise, what's kind of the team that you work with? What's it like? Are you working from home today, or are you in the office?
So today I'm in the office, but I'll be able to be working from home tomorrow.
Oh, that's good.
So my team is my sub team is made up of about 6 or 7 people, and then in the office I'm in Birmingham. In that scale we're about 50 people, and then globally I think we're about 400-500 people. So it's quite a big division of WSP that I work in.
Yeah, definitely. Katie, I'm going to come to you quickly, just with Eloise saying global. Always just sparks my interest. Is there any potential opportunity for placement students or graduates to get experience internationally with WSP, or do you tend to try and keep them in the UK whilst they're doing those kind of training periods?
There is always the opportunities depending on the requirements of the business, the requirements of the teams. We can't say that is a certainty. It's a case-by-case basis, but potentially there could be the opportunities for them, yeah.
Yeah, good. So if anyone was applying, it's probably good to maybe mention it on the CV. They've got interest to travel, interest to work abroad.
Yeah, I mean, by all means, I mean, we wouldn't, if those opportunities did come about, we would want them to sort of feel comfortable in the business first and have that sort of touch base with the team and the touch base with them, you know, their line manager, and have their buddy and feel really settled in their role and in the business before those opportunities, would come to fruition.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. But yeah, good to know for future and potentially even after the graduate program where your career could go with WSP. So it's good to know. And brilliant. Thank you very much, Louise. Martina, going to come to you a bit more about the projects, and if that's okay, what you've been involved in so far, and a bit more detail, if that's okay.
Yeah, so I'm currently involved with quite a lot of design work. I did say when I was applying that I really like design, being involved in design. So basically, my biggest task so far has been to design in AutoCAD Civil 3D 2 of the 3 proposals for active travel route that we're going to propose to our client, which is Transport for Wales. So I'm yet to complete this task like in the next couple of days, and then this will be sent to another team that will basically improve on that. So, you know, we can complete the package and then discuss with the client. Yeah, in the future, I'm not sure. I'm yet to actually speak with the current the project manager for that project, how I'll be involved with the project in the next couple of months, and whether I'll be, you know, involved with other projects. So I'm yet to learn about that. So yeah, but I've been also doing some other minor tasks. For example, I once had to go through some of the financial sheets for a section of the HS2 that we've been designing. So my work covers both design and sometimes project management. So yeah, it's there is quite a lot of variety, so it's nice. You never get bored. Yeah.
I imagine you won't. So can you almost, if you kind of cast your mind back almost like 12 months ago, from you know, from then to now, it sounds, well, all of you sound like you're doing some amazing stuff, but you know, for Martina, for you, does it feel as though you come a long way already just within a couple of months been doing your placement? Can you see a huge shift in your ability, your skills, your knowledge, and you kind of do you feel a bit excited now that you're on the placements where, you know, your future could take you?
Yeah, so before starting, I remember I was really scared to you know, come here in industry and, you know, be actually exposed to real life projects. So but now I'm way more confident, especially when I design, especially, or you know, when I collaborate with my teammates, like, you know, asking questions, discussing, being, you know, critical about, you know, my my ideas, making decisions. And it's just also when you're in the industry, like, I remember when I was going to interviews and I was talking about, you know, like team working skills, communication, but now I'm realizing that in industry, this is on a whole new level. Like, industrial project, they involve hundreds of people, so the logistics behind it are just enormous. So being involved in, you know, with this from an early stage of my education, because I'm still in uni, is just, you know, like, amazing. I'm really appreciating this fact because, yeah, it's just invaluable.
It is 100%. And, you know, me and Carla are so lucky enough to as well, and Kate, you can probably back this up as well, but so lucky to see, you know, students that like yourself that have got this experience, and how, you know, when you start off to how you end it, you're almost two completely different people, because Like
Yeah.
all those soft skills, you know, be more confident, be able to, you know, have those conversations, ask those questions, you know, you've got a really exciting journey ahead of you. But yeah, Katie, I'm sure you can probably add to that in terms of what a placement can bring to a student.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, especially because I do apprentice recruitment, some of the apprentices that we've recruited into the business start at the business age of 16. Some of them start at 18. Some of them are still here in the business and they've just finished their BTEC level 3 and their degree apprenticeship, so they're aged 23, 25. And to see them grow from sort of such a 16 to 18 to the age they are now, and the projects they've been involved in and the awards that they've won as well throughout their apprenticeship. So some of them win Apprentice of the Year. So that's that's really lovely to see, and to see that growth, and yeah, it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, it is good. It is nice, and it's exciting, Martina, because and Eloise, where you're going to be this time next year. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to watch your journey. So carrying on, Sam, Phoebe, we're going to come back to you next, if that's okay. If you could tell us, because you've got a lot of experience now, you know, kind of that you've gone through, you've worked on a lot of projects, but say if you could pick a favourite project that you've worked on so far, or anything for you that's really stood out, kind of come to you first, Sam. What's kind of a standout project you've worked on so far?
There's been a couple. I think the first one was when I first got involved with WSP, and we were essentially tasked by Wokingham Borough Council to go out and assess a lot of vehicle restraint systems, so a lot of the crash barriers at the side of the roads, essentially determine whether they're fit for purpose, so whether to be replaced or removed, and that involved a lot of site work, kind of accessing barriers through a lot of vegetation, and it was interesting to get outside the office as well. And then one particular memory was there was one barrier in the middle of the motorway we needed to access, and we kind of got a call last minute saying there's an emergency road closure. If you need access to it, you can come and do it in a few days. So me and the team kind of put a risk assessment together, and 2 days later we're there in the middle of the night, walking down the middle of the motorway, and both assessing the barrier. And at the same time, you're kind of doing that. You've got surfacing teams going on, you've got teams digging up the road, and it's just, you realise how much goes into roads. And I think certainly before working here, you just assume, oh, they just slap the tarmac down and off you drive. So I think having done that, it gives you a really good perspective. But then in more recent times, I've kind of been given 2 projects where it's been a case of Bournemouth Council and the Safe Routes to School team have gone, we identified this as a bit of a hazard area near a school. We want a crossing or something put in here. And it's almost like, there you go, there's your brief, go and see what you can come up with. So you've got that responsibility to take a blank slate and put your own ideas to it. And at some point further down the line, hopefully in spring next year, you'll be on site actually seeing your designs being constructed. So it's really, it's a really rewarding feeling.
Especially when you're making an environment, you know, more safe for people, you know, you're working in an environment which you know that other people are going to appreciate. You could even eventually potentially save lives. It must be super rewarding. So when you say, when you're working on these projects, you know, you said that you've got to be quite agile and kind of spontaneous with, you kind of get a call, or you get, you know, you've got to kind of act quite quickly then. And I suppose that I never assumed that would be part of your role, but I suppose you've got to react to situations. If something comes in, you've got to do it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's different deadlines for different stages of the project. And that example in particular, most of the barriers are at the side of the road, so you can access them while the roads are open. But given the barrier we were looking at was about 4 miles long, they weren't going to close the motorway just for the sake of three people going and having a look. But obviously, if there's lots of other work going on, it's a case of you've got to reprioritize what you've been asked to do. But it's all exciting to kind of feel like you've got to drop one thing, get on something else, and then when it's all done, you're like, oh, I'll go and pick that back up again. So it's exciting, and especially in those instances where you're somewhere you don't expect to be, And it's just a weird feeling thinking I'm walking on the in the middle of the motorway in the middle of the night. So it's good. It's good
that was a
fun.
bit surreal. But it sounds as though kind of every day is different then. You know, you're getting different experience, different, you know, projects coming your way. Again, it must be, again, that makes it more exciting. It's not, you know, what's the word? Laborious.
Yeah, there's always new stuff to do, and even if it's similar tasks, working with different people, everyone's got a different way of working, everyone's got different opinions, mindsets. So it's good fun, and there's challenges where as a team although you're trying to work for the same goal, someone's got one idea, you've got the other, and you're obviously negotiating between the two of you what's best, but still trying to come to the same conclusion. So it's not just the design, but the people skills and working with other people is a real good fun part of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, nice to get that, you know, breadth of people that you're working with across different experiences, like you said, really, really good. So thanks, Sam. Phoebe, I'm going to come to you if that's okay. Similar question, favourite project that you've worked on so far, or particular thing that stood out to you?
So I've got a project at the moment which is on Pall Mall. So really felt like I'd finally made it when I got onto the Monopoly board. I'd say the particular highlight for me is probably the safety schemes that I do. So we have local safety schemes where we look at collision data, and then we basically design to try and eliminate the collisions. So we look at the similar collisions and we see the patterns, and then we design out the cause of that collision. So it's really interesting, and it really feels like you're actually making an impact, which is nice.
Get many collisions on Pall Mall?
Quite a few actually. You'd be surprised. Yeah, there was a right turn, so it's quite a busy road, and there's not a sort of filter for right turning. So people just seem to right turn, and then those that are coming straight ahead, maybe they don't stop, or there's not enough time to stop, or whatever, and there's quite a few collisions. So we've added in like a right turning arrow in a box for people to sit in, and then we're going to look at the traffic signals to give more of a green phase for those that are coming straight through, so that they can filter through a bit easier.
Cool. Do you know, again, it's exciting to think that you're working on projects that, you know, if you think how many people would you say go down Pall Mall on an average day?
Thousands and thousands, yeah.
You affect all these lives every day. It makes me really excited to work on those kind of projects.
Yeah, it really is. And the good thing about doing the sort of local schemes is that you'll design it, and then like a year later it'll be built. Like it's a really quick turnaround. So having been here for 5 years, I've seen quite a few of my designs get built, and then just out and about in London, and you can see people sort of using it every day, and it's just it's a really good feeling.
Really cool. That's good as well. That's a really good point to make, because I can imagine that'd be quite frustrating if, you know, get put on projects and then you never see the end of it. I think, did it even happen? So that's quite good. Would you say that's a reflection of WSP as a business as well? You know, they like to make change, they'll implement it quickly if they see there is a problem.
Yeah, definitely. Safety is a massive thing on a lot of our particularly highways schemes. So we're always doing a lot of that to try and get to Vision Zero, which is like the zero road collisions by 2040, I think it is. So we're working we've got a whole team here that does specifically like road safety stuff to get to Vision Zero.
Wow. That, again, a fantastic project to be working on. So yeah, well done, Phoebe and the team, for doing it and putting that arrow on Pall Mall. And indeed, we're going to come to you again, last but not least. You talk a bit earlier about all the different kind of projects and experiences you've had. But I'm going to ask you a slightly different question. What's the future looking like for you? You know, you've kind of finished your grad program, you know, you're thinking, what's life like as a graduate that's maybe just come off the program like yourself, thinking what are the next steps?
So basically, so yeah, I've talked about the different projects that I've worked on, and this year I'm focusing a little bit more on the commercial side of things. So I'm assisting my superiors with preparing bids, bid proposals for work winning. So that's been a new thing that's happening this year. Other than that, I have also enrolled into a chartership program. So basically, it's for a systematic career development. So chartership is a formal qualification that's awarded to a professional for their high level of competency within the industry. So for instance, within our transport planning team, two of the most common qualifications for chartership are Chartered Transport Planning Professional, which is CTPP, and it's offered by Transport Planning Society, TPS. So I've enrolled for that, and I'm doing it through the professional development scheme. And what this basically means for me is that it's like a 4 to 5 year commitment to gain relevant competent skills, experiences, knowledge within the industry. And what my plan is now to align it with my PDR goals, which is professional development review. That happens at WSP, that happens twice a year. So you set yearly goals, and then whatever your chartership goals are, you can align it to get relevant experience and to basically chart out your own career path at WSP. And I really think that this sort of helps me to understand where I'm going and what kind of experiences I need to gain. And then I can sort it out with my line manager to make sure that I'm getting those experiences. I think this is really a good way to go in terms of career development at WSP.
Yeah. Did you know that that was always going to be a driver for you wanting to become chartered? Or is this something that WSP has kind of encouraged you to do? Or how did you kind of decide that this was what you wanted to do?
Definitely, I think there are a lot of training and webinars that WSP does to make you aware about what exists out there for you. So I attended this professional qualification webinar, which talked about all these different chartership routes. And then the kind of projects that I'm working on, the kind of projects that I've been interested in, and also aligns well with what my line manager has followed. So that kind of helped me understand where I can go. So there are resources available, there is help available, there are dedicated people working for it, and you can ask them, you can ask anyone within your team, outside your team, to understand how it is that you need to get there and what kind of help is or resources are available to you. There's a dedicated page on the SharePoint at the WSP intranet as well, which has a lot of resources. So yeah.
Fantastic, great stuff. I'm conscious of the time, so there's a couple of things I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of split the next questions, if that's okay. So Eloise and Martina, I want to see, so far in your placement, have you had any additional experiences kind of away from the day job that you want to tell the audience about? Because like I say, it's still only 2 months in. What else have you been up to? So Eloise, I'm going to come to you with that one first.
Right, so there's definitely a lot of opportunities at WSP. Still sort of connected to my work. They focused a lot on training and stuff, and one of the things that I had to get was my TVP license, which is a track visitors permit, so that I could actually go onto site, onto the railway, and sort of assist in site analysis and stuff. So that was an opportunity that I took hold of, which was quite cool. I managed to go on site last weekend in the middle of the night, which was freezing cold, but it was really, really cool. And then the WSP, on the other side of things, they also offer a lot of socials. So up here in Birmingham, they have sports socials, early development program where all the new starters, early careers students, they arrange socials so that everybody kind of gets to know each other. So that are more people that are like sort of in your age range and stuff. So yeah, so there's definitely a lot of things externally that they make available to placement students and graduates and everybody.
Fantastic. Yeah, good way to network and create those friendships as well. Martina, you kind of spoke a bit about that you know, in your intro about a fun fact about WSP, about, you know, volunteering and things like that. But do you have anything like an additional experience on top of Louise's comment?
Yeah, so I've done trainings both online, and I have also traveled to other cities as well for the day. So, for example, my online trainings would include learning a software such as Civil 3D. I've traveled to Birmingham for a business management lean workshop, and I've also met with the Institution of Civil Engineers officers to discuss the process of becoming a chartered engineer. And yeah, the officers come in our office almost every month to track the progress of, like everyone that's currently on their way to, get a chartership. So I also went to Bristol to attend an induction event for our graduate development program, and quite a lot has happened for such a short period of time. I remember when the first week I joined, because my land manager has set up my email even before I came to the office for my first day. So I opened my email, and there was already invitation for a trip to Birmingham, and I was like, okay, that was fast. There is many more events coming up in the upcoming months. We're also having a Christmas party in December, so yeah, it's quite exciting. There are so many socials, trainings, and so many opportunities for development.
Amazing. And what a perfect way to kind of end it and hand it back to Carla, because can I apply, please?
No.
How does everyone put an application in?
We accept all applications, so yes.
No,
absolutely.
you don't. Not from Jessica, she's staying with me, she's mine. So thanks, guys, you've been absolutely amazing. So Katie, we're going to go on now and find out about the recruitment process and what's involved in that. So initially, like we said at the beginning of the webinar, all of the opportunities are on the WSP Hub. So go there, do your research, re-watch this webinar, watch the snippets. There's lots of information on there. What's the next step, Katie, when a student does click on the apply link?
Yes, so once they've clicked on it, it will go through to our online application form. So they'll answer a few questions regarding their preferences for location, their preferences for disciplines, what they're interested in. There'll be a few questions about why WSP, for example. And then once they've completed that and submitted their details, and if they're successfully matched to opportunities that we have within the business, they'll be invited to complete a behavioural-based assessment with the opportunities to do a practice run as well. And then the next step, if they're successful, and again, if we have opportunities that match their preferences, it would either be a interview day or a face-to-face interview. So that would be the recruitment process.
Oh, Carla, she's gone again on me, hasn't she? She was looking very intently there. So in terms of the application process, have you got any hints and tips, Katie, that you would give to any students that, that are about to go through the process? What do you like to see in a good application?
Okay, so here at WSP, we want to see your true, authentic self. So when you are answering any questions on the application, please stay away from sort of copying and pasting or writing what you think we want to hear. So have a little bit of a think about how you would answer those questions to your family or your peers, and how you would answer that. So we want to hear about your passions and your interests for the industry tailored to you. So that would be my biggest advice. Secondly, it's an obvious one. Take your time. There's no rush. Read over your answers and be confident and proud in your application. That is my advice to you.
100%. It sounds like a very, very good lot of advice that was. In terms of, I want to do a bit more as well, Katie. Actually, I'm going to stick with you just on the application process. Is there anything, when it just made me think actually before I left you, because I've done a lot of sessions with students over the last couple of weeks, and sometimes when students are applying to these graduate opportunities, when they're applying to these placement roles, they don't know how to research and they don't know how to show off that they've got the right skills. So, we talk a lot about here at Gradcracker being involved in extracurricular activities, being involved in Student STEM Society. Is that something that you encourage, Katie, and do you look out for in applications? So you look for the degree, yes, but what other things is that student doing to, really create those skills and qualities that, really make them unique?
Yeah, absolutely. So everything that you do at university, at school, at college, you gain skills doing that, whether that is extracurriculum activities, if that's sporting, or if that's working in teams, or if that's a project that you've worked on through university, you are learning skills, whether that's communication skills, whether that's project management skills. You can bring those and tailor that into your application, as well as if you do work experience, obviously you can bring that in as well. So you've got that work experience, and also if you don't have the industry experience, if you work part-time in retail, you also learn skills that you can bring and add that to the application. So yeah, we welcome all sort of experiences that you learn.
Again, really good point, because I think students think, oh, does it have to be relevant to that industry, relevant to that employer? But any experience is really, really great to mention.
Absolutely.
So next we're going to finish off with a quick fire round, if that's okay. So your kind of favourite memory so far at WSP. So Eloise, I'm going to come to you if that's okay. And could you share with the group what has been your favourite memory so far in the last 2 months at WSP?
So I'm going to be repeating myself here, but it would definitely be this week, the last weekend that I've had, getting the opportunity to go onto track, and actually experience like that sort of, I wouldn't say like grown-up environment, but having the opportunity to sort of be involved in that way.
Yeah, definitely sounds like a great one. Martina, going to come to you.
So my favorite memory so far has been my trip to Bristol, because like after the workshop, like placements and graduate apprenticeship, we all went and explored the city as well. So it was so fun, and Bristol was lovely. So yeah, I think that's been my favorite memory so far.
Sounds like a good one. Sam, going to come to you.
I think it was the first time being on site and watching the construction of one of the projects I've developed. Just brilliant feeling knowing that all the contractors are chatting about what your drawings are tending to do. But the Christmas party is always a memorable evening as well. So.
It's coming up. That's good. It's on the horizon next couple of weeks. Good one. Phoebe, could I come to you?
So my favorite was actually a couple of weeks ago. We did like a landmark race, so it was like a scavenger hunt around London, but we had to go to specific landmarks, and the first team to get there, like you took a picture of yourself with it, you sent the photo to the group chat, and then you won the point. So it's actually a really fun evening that we did as a team.
Oh, that's nice. Again, it's all fun experiences, isn't it? It sounds as though that you working across some fantastic groups, working hard, but playing hard as well, which is great. And indeed, to come to you again, last but not least.
Yeah, so I'm gonna echo what everyone else has said about the Christmas party last year. We had it at Botanical Gardens in Birmingham, so lots of food, lots of chatting, dancing, and I can't remember the time I got back home. It's probably 1 a.m. That was really fun. And equally competing is so we went for a corporate day out at clay pigeon shooting at Herefordshire, and it was a whole day event, and we reached early morning. We had a good breakfast. We had some trainings at shooting, and then I think we totally fired some 100 shots. I still remember that pain I had from the recoil.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely worth it. It was fun to go out and spend time with colleagues from different teams, because it was office wide. So yeah, that was really fun. And of course, all the team socials that we have at social darting, lunch, dinners. Yeah, it's a lot of fun outside work as well.
I think that's a lot of fun. Oh, a lovely way to end it as well. Carla, I don't know if it feels like you're back. Are you back?
I'm back. Every time I come to speak, my internet just crashes. So it's the internet gods are against me today. So sorry, guys, but Jessica, well done. You've massively held the fort today. So thank you, everybody. You've been an inspiration. Thank you, Katie. It's lovely for you to have joined us today. Me and Jess are taking a break next week, so we're not having a webinar next Thursday, but we're back the following Thursday, so the 23rd of November. Where we're joined by Cambridge consultants. But don't forget the deadlines. We've said them all already a couple of times during this webinar. So make sure you apply to the graduate roles, the degree apprenticeships, and the placements, and be part of WSP. So I've been here at the beginning and here at the end. See you all soon, everybody.
It was a good
your
one.
application. Yeah, I enjoyed it. See you all
Thanks,
soon, everybody.
guys.
Take
See you
care.
later.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.